Okay, so number one is strategy. And the way I always describe this is like, no one can run a race if you don't tell them where the finish line is. And right now you're asking yourself and your team to run a race, and you're getting frustrated if they're not running as fast as you, or they're running alongside you, or they're not running, like they're not motivated to run in the same direction you are. Well, have you given them direction to run in? And so my one actionable step around strategy would be, are you as a founder carving out regular time on your own calendar to not be in the weeds, to not be answering client fires, to not be doing any of the day to day, to truly step out and step back and take a strategic view of your business? Do you know where you are going? Do you know how you want to get there? And then have you communicated that to your team repeatedly? So that would be strategy. Good on that one, Dave?
Yep.
Cool. As soon as strategy is in place, that immediately moves us into leadership. Well, actually, I should say into team, right? So we've now taken our strategy, we've given it to our team. Our team now has a finish line. So how do we get them motivated to run towards it with us? There's a whole checklist. People can reach out to me if they want it, of like 8 key things that your A-playing team needs in order to succeed in their role. But I would say if there was one actionable that I could give to the members of your audience on the team subject, it would be, now that you've presented a strategic vision to your team, sitting down with them one-on-one and helping them understand, here is how your role directly contributes to this strategic vision. Here's how we measure that. Here's what success looks like for you, right? Because I've talked about what success looks like for the business, but what does success look like for you? So individualizing the finish line so that they not only stand, where am I going, but how am I uniquely responsible for getting the company there? That will immediately unlock proactive action, motivation, innovation, creativity, because again, you're giving them a finish line to run towards. So that would be team. That whole thing is an act of leadership. And so leadership is the third core pillar. When we're small, the only leadership is us, right? As we scale and as we grow, what you talked about, Dave, of having this really a business that can run with or without you, ultimately that comes down to a leadership team. And so the goal, if you're seeking to scale your business towards 8 figures, or you're seeking a business that can create true freedom for you, is to have a leadership team that can run the day-to-day and make day-to-day decisions for you. The number one actionable that I would give people around leadership is to think very carefully before internally promoting their top performer. This is the biggest mistake that I see when it comes to building leadership teams. I have an amazing salesperson. I want a head of sales. So I'm going to take my most amazing salesperson and I'm going to put them in that role. That makes perfect sense, right? Unfortunately, what happens is that you've now taken that person who's really good at like one thing and one thing only, picking up the phone and closing clients. And you've now taken their time away from doing that and towards team trainings, leadership huddles, administrative tasks, data tracking, all these things that are not actually what they're uniquely gifted at. So I'm all for, let me be clear, Dave, I'm all for internal promotion, but I would only promote somebody if they are going to be a better manager and leader of people than they are a performer in the role. Otherwise, keep them in their zone of genius. That's where they're going to achieve the most growth, the most fulfillment, and ultimately you won't end up with a leadership team of angry top performers who no longer get to do what they do. Okay. So that's strategy, team, leadership.